in the process made an enemy of Spider-Man. Determined to find Spider-Man, he barged into the newspaper office, grabbed the editor, and demanded to know who supplied the Spider-Man photos. But just then, Spider-Man showed up in the nick of time. This time, though, the Goblin came prepared. He knocked Spider-Man out with a gas attack, but he didn't finish him off. Instead, he took him away. Because he was impressed by Spider-Man's powers, he was convinced the two of them together would be unstoppable. They could rule the world if they joined forces. Obviously, Peter wasn't interested. The Goblin didn't push it. He told him to take his time and think it over. Peter didn't give the Goblin's offer a second thought, but trouble found him again soon enough. Mary Jane was cornered by a group of thugs. Luckily, Peter happened to spot them. A few webs came flying in, yanking the thugs off one by one. Regular punks were no match for Spider-Man. He took every last one of them down in seconds. Without his mask, he kept his back to MJ. She started to chase after him, but the next second, mask on, he was hanging upside down right behind her. Grateful for all the times he'd saved her life, she pulled his mask halfway down and kissed him in the pouring rain. The next day, an apartment caught fire on a nearby street. Spider-Man arrived just in time, swung into the blazing building, and rescued a baby. Then a woman screamed for help from above. Without a second thought, he went right back in, only to realize it was a trap set by the Green Goblin. Furious that Peter rejected his offer to rule the world together, the Goblin launched razor-sharp blades at him. Peter reacted fast, but still got his arm sliced by one of the blades. He webbed the Goblin and kicked him across the room. As the building exploded, Spider-Man escaped through the flames. Since it was Aunt May's birthday, Peter didn't want to miss such an important family gathering. His best friend Harry brought Mary Jane along to celebrate, and with them was Harry's father. Peter rushed, but still showed up a step late. To keep anyone from blowing his cover, he hid just 1 second before they walked in. He barely managed to stick himself to the ceiling. One look up and he'd have been busted. He quickly changed and came in through the front door. As everyone sat down for dinner, Aunt May noticed the wound on Peter's arm. The moment she pulled up his sleeve, Norman's face went pale because he recognized it instantly. That cut was from his own blade. He immediately put down his fork, made up an excuse about something urgent, and left. That very night, the Goblin attacked Aunt May's bedroom, traumatizing her so badly she had a breakdown. Then he kidnapped Mary Jane. The Goblin gave Peter an impossible choice. On one side, the woman he loved. On the other, dozens of innocent children. Would he stay the people's hero or save the love of his life? Anyone would crack under a dilemma like that. But before Peter could even think, the Goblin dropped both at the same time. Peter leaped off the bridge and grabbed Mary Jane, then used his web to swing to the cable car and catch it too. The web clearly couldn't hold forever. Peter told Mary Jane to climb into the cable car now. The Goblin pulled out a blade ready to strike, but got pelted with random objects. Turns out the people on the bridge had come to help. Thanks to the crowd's interference, Peter managed to lower the cable car onto a passing boat. While distracted, the Goblin caught him in a cable and dragged him into an abandoned building. Then an exploding pumpkin came flying his way. The blast sent Peter crashing to the ground, and every time he got up, the Goblin beat him right back down. Peter fired webs trying to restrain the Goblin, but it was useless. After a relentless pounding, the Goblin launched into the air and drop-kicked Peter across the room. But what nobody expected was to go after Mary Jane next, and that was the line. Adrenaline exploded through Peter's body. He caught the incoming spear with one hand and shoved the Goblin back several feet. Then he pressed the attack, using webs to trip the Goblin and tearing down the brick wall behind him. When the Goblin struggled back to his feet, Peter sent him flying again, fighting like his life depended on it. Peter finally beat the unstoppable Goblin into total submission. But this was exactly what the Goblin wanted. He slowly removed his mask, revealing a face Peter knew all too well. It was Norman, Harry's father. Norman kept switching between his two personalities, making it impossible to tell which one was in control. But the remote he was secretly pressing made it clear Norman had passed the point of no return. The glider rose slowly behind Peter, while Norman kept playing the emotional card, trying to keep Peter's attention.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
In the end, Norman was killed by his own weapon. After the Goblin's death, Spider-Man carried his body home, and Harry saw the whole thing. From that moment on, Harry was convinced Spider-Man killed his father.
One day Spider-Man will pay.